Welcome back, listeners, for another deep dive into horror.
Tonight we're going to be
tackling Ghostface.
Oh yeah, one of the greats.
Absolutely, one of the all-time greats in horror.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that the creation of Ghostface started long before the first Scream movie even hit theaters.
Yeah, when you see Ghostface, he's more than just a slasher.
Right.
He's become this symbol of fear.
Absolutely.
This embodiment of everything we find terrifying about the dark.
For sure.
It all starts with the mask.
Yeah, the mask.
That white, ghostly face, the elongated features, that expression of pure anguish.
It's very effective.
Oh, yeah.
And simple, but effective.
It sends shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
So where did this iconic mask come from?
Well, like we were saying, it predates the Scream movies.
I mean, it's not like they just whipped it up in a Hollywood prop shop, right?
No, it's a lot more interesting than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was originally part of a Halloween costume line.
So Ghostface started as a Halloween costume.
It really did, yeah.
That's surprising.
It was made by a company called Fun World.
Oh, yeah?
And they called it the Peanut-Eyed Ghost.
The Peanut-Eyed Ghost.
It was part of their Fantastic Faces collection.
Okay.
Just one of many masks you could pick up at your local costume shop.
Wow.
From Peanut-Eyed Ghost to the Face of Terror.
Yeah.
That's quite a journey.
That is quite a journey.
What's even more fascinating is that the inspiration for the mask is this strange blend of art history and pop culture.
Like what?
Well, it echoes Edvard Munch's painting The Scream.
Oh, wow.
With that same sense of existential dread.
Interesting.
There are hints of Pink Floyd's The Wall imagery.
Wow.
And even some classic cartoons.
Okay.
Played a role in its design.
So Ghostface has roots in fine art and cartoons.
It's true.
I never would have thought.
This seemingly simple mask is actually layered with all these unexpected influences. It was director Wes Craven who saw the potential in this costume mask to become something truly terrifying.
I can't imagine Scream without that mask.
Right.
It's so deeply ingrained in the identity of the franchise.
Absolutely. It's almost impossible to picture Ghostface with any other face.
Yeah.
But it almost happened.
Really?
The filmmakers had a backup mask created.
Wow.
Just in case they couldn't secure the rights to the Fun World design.
I'd love to see what that alternate Ghostface looked like.
It's hard to say if it would have had the same impact.
Yeah.
There's something about the simplicity and ambiguity of that white mask that really taps into our primal fears.
It's like a blank slate onto which we can project our own anxieties.
Exactly.
There's something incredibly eerie about a mask that doesn't betray any emotion.
Right.
No real features. Just that empty, haunting expression. It's like staring into the abyss.
Exactly. And that blankness is what makes it so terrifying.
Oh, for sure.
Because we don't know what's behind it.
You don't know what the killer is thinking or feeling.
Right.
Okay, so they have the mask.
Yeah.
But a mask alone doesn't make a horror icon.
No, it doesn't.
How did they bring Ghostface to life on screen?
A huge part of that is the voice. This is something that many people don't realize.
Okay.
The voice of Ghostface is always the same, no matter who is under the mask.
Really?
It's always Roger L. Jackson.
Oh, wow. I always thought it was the actor playing the killer.
Nope.
Who also did the voice.
Roger L. Jackson is the voice of Ghostface.
Wow.
It's his chilling tones, that raspy whisper that really makes the character come alive.
It's amazing. It adds this whole other level to the character's mystique.
It does, and it was a deliberate choice by Wes Craven.
Interesting.
He wanted Ghostface to have this consistent, otherworldly presence.
Yeah.
Regardless of who was wearing the mask.
That's so cool. And it worked brilliantly. It's like even though the killer changes from film to film, that voice is always there.
Right.
Lurking in the shadows. A constant reminder of the terror that awaits.
And it's not just the voice. There's a very specific physicality to Ghostface.
Oh, yeah.
A set of movements and mannerisms that make him instantly recognizable.
It's the way he holds the knife. The way he tilts his head.
Yeah.
The way he seems to glide through the shadows.
Right.
It's all very calculated, very deliberate.
Exactly. And a lot of that was defined by the stuntman who first played Ghostface.
Okay.
Dane Farwell.
Okay.
He really shaped the character's on-screen persona.
Interesting.
Those little details that make Ghostface so much more than just a guy in a mask.
So it was really a collaboration. Craven's vision, the iconic mask, Jackson's chilling voice.
Yes.
And Farwell's physical performance.
It all came together.
It all came together to create this truly terrifying and unforgettable horror icon.
It did.
Ghostface.
Yeah, it really is remarkable how all those elements came together to make Ghostface who he is. But it wasn't just the visuals and the sound.
Right.
It was the story that played a crucial role.
And specifically the script for the first Scream movie.
Yes.
Written by Kevin Williamson.
Yes.
It's considered a masterpiece of the horror genre.
Oh, for sure.
It revitalized the slasher genre in the 90s.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that is due to the way that it subverts expectations and plays with horror tropes.
Absolutely. Williamson's script is incredibly clever and self-aware. It acknowledges the cliches of horror movies while turning them on their head.
Right.
The characters are smart.
Yeah.
They know the rules of horror, and they try to use that knowledge to survive.
And yet they still fall victim to Ghostface's terror.
Right, and that's part of what makes Ghostface so terrifying. He's not just a mindless killer.
Right.
He's intelligent. He's manipulative. He's playing a game with his victims.
And that game is often rooted in their past.
Yes.
Their secrets, their vulnerabilities. Ghostface uses that knowledge against them.
Exactly. He preys on their fears, their insecurities, their past traumas.
Turning their own lives into a horror movie.
Right.
And that's what makes him so much more chilling than a typical slasher villain.
He's not just out for blood. He's out to break them psychologically.
And the whole concept of Ghostface being more than one person, that was a brilliant move.
It added this whole other layer of suspense to the film.
Yeah.
You never know who's under the mask.
Right.
So anyone could be the killer.
Creates this atmosphere of paranoia and distrust where even your closest friends could be your worst enemy.
For sure.
And that paranoia is amplified by the phone calls.
Right.
The way Ghostface taunts his victims.
Right.
With these cryptic questions, these twisted games, it's pure psychological torture.
Those phone calls are iconic. They're as much a part of the Scream franchise as the mask and the voice.
Totally.
They build tension, create suspense, and give us a glimpse into Ghostface's twisted mind.
They also serve as a meta-commentary on the horror genre itself.
Absolutely.
Ghostface often references classic horror movies.
Yes.
Pointing out the tropes and cliches that the characters are falling into. It's like he's both a participant in the horror and a commentator on it.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It adds this layer of self-awareness to the film, acknowledging the conventions of the genre while subverting them.
It's one of the reasons why Scream is so much more than just another slasher flick.
Right.
Okay, so we've got this iconic mask, this chilling voice, this incredibly smart and self-aware script. All of these elements come together to create a character that really transcended the horror genre.
It did.
But there's another element that contributed to Ghostface's success.
Okay.
And that's the casting.
The casting was spot on.
Yeah.
The young actors, Neve Campbell, Skeet Ulrich, Drew Barrymore, Courtney Cox, they brought such energy and charisma to their roles.
For sure.
You really cared about these characters, which made their encounters with Ghostface all the more terrifying.
And let's not forget the casting of Roger L. Jackson.
Oh.
As the voice of Ghostface,
Yeah.
his performance is absolutely chilling.
It really is. And what's interesting is that Jackson never met the actors
Oh, wow.
playing Ghostface on set.
Oh, really?
He recorded his lines separately,
Oh, wow.
which added to the mystery and detachment of the character.
That's fascinating. So the actors never knew who was actually behind the mask during filming?
Nope, it was all a big secret.
Wow.
And I think that added to the realism of the performances.
Right.
The fear, the paranoia, the distrust.
Yeah.
It was all genuine because the actors were experiencing those emotions in real time.
So they were living their own horror movie.
They were.
Wow.
And I think that's part of what makes Scream so effective.
Yeah.
It's not just a movie about a killer in a mask.
Right.
It's about the psychological effects of terror, the way it can unravel a group of friends, a community, even an entire town.
And that terror is all the more potent because it feels so real, so relatable. I mean, we've all been teenagers. We've all had secrets. We've all felt that sense of vulnerability that Ghostface exploits so masterfully.
That's why Scream resonated with audiences in such a profound way.
Oh, for sure.
It tapped into something primal, something universal about the experience of fear and the anxieties of adolescence.
And those themes are still relevant today, which is why the Scream franchise continues to thrive.
Absolutely.
Ghostface has become this timeless horror icon, this symbol of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of everyday life.
Right.
But let's not forget, Ghostface's legacy extends beyond the confines of the Scream franchise.
Oh, for sure.
He's had a significant impact on pop culture as well.
Absolutely. Ghostface has become this instantly recognizable figure, parodied and referenced in countless movies, TV shows, even video games.
He's been featured in everything from Scary Movie to Robot Chicken.
Yes.
And even inspired a few adult parodies along the way.
Right, which just goes to show the enduring power of this character. He's become more than just a horror villain. He's a cultural icon, a symbol of fear and fascination that continues to captivate audiences.
So we've delved into the origins of the mask. We've explored the brilliance of the script. We've talked about the impact of casting and performance.
Right.
But I think it's important to remember that at the heart of it all, Ghostface is a creation of fear.
Absolutely. He's a product of our collective nightmares, an embodiment of the anxieties that haunt us in the dark.
And that's what makes him so enduring, so terrifying. He's a reflection of ourselves,
right,
of the darkness that lies within us all.
And that's a truly chilling thought.
It is.
But
I think it's also what makes Ghostface so fascinating. He forces us to confront our fears.
Right.
To acknowledge the shadows that lurk within our own minds.
Yeah.
And in doing so, perhaps we can find a way to overcome them. It's interesting when you think about it, Ghostface is like this singular entity, but he's actually been portrayed by so many different actors over the years.
So many, and each actor brings their own unique spin to the role.
Exactly.
Even though they're all hidden behind that same chilling mask.
Think about the physicality.
Yeah.
The way they move, the way they wield that knife.
Right.
It's almost like each Ghostface has their own style, their own brand of terror.
It's subtle, but it's definitely there.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's part of what keeps the character fresh, even after all these years.
Absolutely.
He's constantly evolving, adapting, finding new ways to scare the hell out of us.
And let's not forget that Ghostface is often more than one person.
Oh, that's right.
Working together to orchestrate these elaborate killing sprees.
It adds such a layer of complexity to the character. It's
sure.
not just about the physical threat.
Right.
It's about the psychological manipulation, the way they gaslight their victims, turn them against each other, and make them doubt their own sanity.
It's like this twisted social experiment. This game where the stakes are life and death, and the rules are constantly changing, so you never know who to trust.
And that's where the real horror lies, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about the blood and gore. It's about the erosion of trust, the disintegration of relationships, the feeling that you're completely alone, surrounded by enemies.
And that's, I think, why Ghostface continues to resonate with audiences today.
Yeah.
Because he represents those primal fears, those anxieties that we all share. About being betrayed by the people we trust, about losing control, about the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of everyday life.
He's a reminder that even in the safest, most familiar environments, there's always the potential for violence, chaos, for terror.
Which is a terrifying thought.
It is.
But it's also a thought that can be empowering.
Oh, how so?
Because if we acknowledge those fears, if we confront them head on, then maybe we can find a way to overcome them.
Maybe that's the true legacy of Ghostface.
Yeah.
He's not just a horror icon, he's a mirror, reflecting back at our own deepest fears and anxieties.
Right.
And in that reflection, we can find a glimmer of hope, a chance to understand ourselves better, to face our demons, and to emerge stronger on the other side.
That's a really powerful message.
It is.
And it's one that I think will continue to resonate with audiences for years to come.
I agree.
Well, listeners, we've come to the end of another deep dive.
Sad to see it go.
I know, me too. This one was really a lot of fun.
It was a good one.
We were talking about Ghostface.
One of the greats.
What does Ghostface represent to you?
Yeah, that's a good question to think about.
What fears does he embody? And how can confronting those fears help you navigate the darkness that lurks in your own world?
Lots to think about.
Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and keep those lights on.